Okay, now that we have touched on this point, public speaking.
Yes.
I think it's super good. I did not plan to ask you this, but really, this person here is one of the best public speaker I've ever known. So let's ask him because a lot of people, right? First of all, even in their personal life, in Asia, it's already extreme. That even in their personal life, they don't dare to speak up, especially to strangers. How can we people like that even do public speaking when that may be even a lot of people would rather die than do public speaking? So do you have any tips to overcome the fear of public speaking?
Okay, so how do you overcome the fear of public speaking? So great question, man. Start with something small, right? So I love this quote, right? Start small, think big, scale fast. Start small, right? Start with 2 people, start with 3 people. There'll always be that fear. But I realize the fear is because you're focusing on yourself, right? The fear of public speaking is because of you are thinking, oh, how will somebody think about me? What will they think of what I'm saying? Will they judge me? And all this what if comes in, right? But the art behind public speaking is if you take away that focus on yourself and realize that you are truly serving the people who are there to listen to you. That is when that fear goes away, right? When you truly feel, if you really have a message that can help people and you focus on serving them and not serving your own self-interest, that's when, I speak with more confidence. So I realize that whenever I feel nervous, it's because of how I feel. But when I step on stage and I truly get in the space of wanting to serve others, that's when my jitters and everything goes away.
I think that's very true because when I focus on myself, actually, initially when I first started giving public speaking, there was no fear. Then as I do, there was starting to have fear. And I realized maybe, whenever I have fear, it's usually when I'm thinking, okay, am I in my best form today? Blah, blah, blah. It's all on me. And I realized when I don't have fear is when I'm thinking, okay, this content will really be good and I want to share this message.
Absolutely.
I really agree with you.
It all starts with the mindset, right? It all starts here, right? So whatever you think you will display, right? So if I tell myself, oh man, I'm really, really scared, I'm really nervous and everything, then that's exactly how it will be. Right? But if you tell yourself, hey, I'm here to really share a message that can truly bless people and help whoever is coming to listen today, then dude, you'll be in your element, man. Seriously, like you'll poof, let's go.
Okay. And just so you know, Resh actually, I don't know whether you're still doing it, but you actually have a training, coaching program for people that wants to be a speaker to share your message and everything.
Yes.
So at the end of this video, we're gonna tell you where can you get resources to connect up with Resh and go on to maybe
absolutely. So I do have this training program to coach speakers and trainers to be, right? So if you're looking to be a speaker or a trainer, I actually have this really good 1-day program where I teach you the art and skill of speaking and training. So something really cool, maybe you can put the link down below.
Yeah, and I can just give you one testimony from a friend of mine, another friend of mine by the name of Koshilan. He's recently doing trainings as well in Johor Bahru, Singapore. And when I go to his preview, I'm like, wow, this guy executed everything like so well, and he's new. He's new and he's better than me now. So that's what I feel. And I asked him, where do you learn your public speaking skills and all? And he said he undergo some training with you before, and that's where he picked up some of the...
Absolutely. He just modeled exactly what I did, and he's copying what... Yeah, absolutely. Just modeling very, very well what I taught him.
Okay. So if you want to check it out, later we'll put some link down below where you can find Resh. But before that, we still have a long way to go because I really want to dig everything out of him. In this book, you mentioned that you suffered a stroke in your...
When I was 18.
18 years old in national service.
When I was national service, that's right.
Okay. Later you talk a little bit about that. What was not in this book was last year. Am I correct?
Yes,
Early last year. You had another major injury, right?
Yes, that's right.
That caused you to be on a wheelchair and everything. And doctor told you that it's quite difficult to recover, especially fast.
Yes, absolutely.
But it was, for me, in the third party perspective, it's like watching miracle happen, Like within 1 or 2 months, you recovered fully, and then after that, you're like hitting the gym, everything.
Yes, that's
better than a lot of people. So maybe can you talk a little bit about the both of those experience?
Yep.
But most importantly, what's so special about you that you can, every time you're hit by this setback, you can come back? What did you use? What was the thing that is helping you?
Sure. So just share, one of the major incidents which changed the entire trajectory of my life was actually what happened to me when I was 19 years old. So what happened was I was actually right here at home, when I actually suddenly had a throbbing pain on the right side of my brain, and I just wasn't feeling well. And then I came out of the room, and I came out to the hall. It was exactly here, and then I collapsed. And it was very, very scary, and interestingly, I collapsed, and, my phone wasn't with me, whatever not. But it's amazing, man. My at that exact moment, within like 2 minutes, my mom suddenly like opened the door and rushed out. It wasn't like I was screaming or whatever. She just, like this motherly instinct, she just barged out of the room, and this was at 2 a.m. in the morning. She ran out and she saw me sprawl on the ground. And she asked me what was wrong with me, and I was feeling in unconsciousness. And she immediately carried me, and she brought me to the hospital. And what happened was I was diagnosed eventually with a stroke. Right? I lost sensation on my arms. I couldn't feel anything on my arms. I lost sensation on my face. Eventually, I lost sensation on my legs as well. It was very, very scary. I was in the hospital for quite some time, and this was during my national service. Dude, it was very, very tough. And the reason why it was very tough was because, not just because of what happened to me physically, but what happened to me like mentally, everything. Back then, my dream was to actually become a military officer. That was my dream. But that got taken away from me, right? I was no longer combat fit. I couldn't actually serve in the army anymore. They downgraded me. I was made to become a clerk in the army. I was actually representing Singapore, like I told you. But that no longer became an option. My parents didn't want me to ever go back to weightlifting ever again. So that was taken away from me. And being a 19-year-old where all you wanted to do was to represent your country, to really represent my country. I just wanted to serve my nation. I wanted to actually be a soldier. I wanted to become a national weightlifter. But everything was taken away from me just like that. And dude, it was very, very tough, man. It was, what's the purpose to life then? Everything that I wanted to do, everything that I dreamed of doing was ripped away from me. And I lost purpose. Yeah, so it was very, very difficult. But then, I spent many nights. Obviously, I was on medical leave for nearly over 6 months. I spent a lot of time, recovering, getting better. And, many nights I would be very depressed. Like, what am I supposed to do in my life right now? And I still remember my mother she never stopped praying. She was always this prayer warrior, and she prayed and she prayed and she prayed, and she told me one day, son, you can do anything that you set your mind to. If you're no longer weightlifting or army, you can do something else. And that's when I started picking up books, man. That's when I started picking up books on personal development. That's when I started really, really going to this world of learning about finance, learning about Tony Robbins, learning about Robert Kiyosaki, learning about Mary Buffett, all these people. And that's when I started attending seminars, and my entire life changed. And it was because of that. It's because of this one thing that I dedicated my life to personal development. And as a result, my life has completely changed, right? It's completely changed. I can't even. So I'm very, very thankful. Right, and interestingly, the biggest setback happened to today be my biggest testimony. The biggest test that happened in my life is today a story that I always tell to inspire, to tell people that, hey, everything that happens in life happens to you for a reason, and that reason is to serve you and make you become better. And that's what I truly believe, man. And that's what, whenever anything challenging happens to me, that's how I think. I always tell myself, dude, I wouldn't ask myself, why is this happening to me? Right? I ask myself, what's this lesson trying to teach me?
Okay. Before you go on to share your next part of the story.
Yep.
So back then, when you were 18, 19 years old, when you had that stroke,
yep,
your dream was to become a bodybuilding champion.
Olympic weightlifting.
Olympic weightlifting.
Yep.
That was your dream. You never thought of becoming a speaker, never crossed your mind.
No.
Is money important to you back then? Like I know money is definitely important, but is achieving financial freedom one of the top priorities?
Not at all, man. Not at all. You know, I back then I was just a normal, uh, normal guy who surrounded myself with other. Like when you're 18 years old, dude, you're in school, right? You're in school. No one talks about financial freedom. They talk about going to university and getting a degree and getting a job. That's what they talk about. And they're not talking about financial freedom. Like what the hell? All right. So that wasn't my sphere of influence. That wasn't the people I was hanging around with. So that wasn't on my mind at all. Right? But when I got into this world of personal development, that's when this got introduced to me.
Okay. So I'm sure you felt devastated when because you had half a stroke.
Yep.
You had a stroke, but half of your body.
Yes.
How did you recover actually?
So I recovered. How did I recover? You know, number one, as in the grace of God. You know, really, really, as in my mother always prayed for me, and I truly believe in the healing power of God. So that was number one. Number two, obviously, was intense physiotherapy. You know, I had so many drugs put into me. It's nuts. Okay. I went through all these different operations, all these different procedures, and yeah, man. So it's just constant. You know, I had to go to the physiotherapy every day to move my fingers, do a little bit of work, and slowly I started getting back some feeling in my fingers and my legs and everything.
Okay. And you mentioned the most important thing that recently I wrote down, because everyone, especially me, almost every month I have a different crisis. But it's not necessarily financial crisis. It's always about overthinking and all these small things happen. I'm like, I want things to be perfect. And I will go into victim mode. Why is this happening to me? My life won't be complete anymore. You'll never be good. All these things. And I'm sure you were feeling that back then.
Absolutely.
But you mentioned something very important, which was things happen, bad things may happen. In that moment, it may look like a disaster, but if you shift your thinking on how can I turn this into something that can serve me, so life happened for you, not to you, then it'll be good. So I actually had a checklist yesterday I did. Whenever I have a big problem, I feel depressed or what, I go into two things. I ask, am I being a bitch? Am I in victim mode?
In bitch mode.
Victim. Am I putting myself as a victim? And number two, how can this thing serve me instead of happen to me, which I'm helpless? So that's very good. And if you are having any sort of crisis now, maybe you can take that advice and use it to turn your life around.
Absolutely. So true, man. And coming to the, you were talking about what happened to me last year. So I was on a mountain in Japan, in Hakuba. I was actually skiing, and I got into a very, very serious accident. I didn't know how to stop, and then I was skiing, and then my knee just caved in, and my skis flew, and I just broke everything, man. When I tried to get up, it was just so crazy because I knew my knee was gone. What ended up happening was I tore everything, all the ligaments, ACL, MCL, PCL, everything, whatever ligaments in my knee, completely gone, finished, right? Everything was gone. But interestingly, I was in the mountain waiting for help to come, and seriously, the first thought in my head was, I cannot wait to document my recovery. I cannot wait to get back on my feet. I was thinking in my head, what a great story this will be. That's what I was thinking. I was not thinking about my pain, I was thinking about, oh damn, I can't wait to inspire all my friends on my recovery very, very soon. And that was what I was thinking when I was freaking in pain in the mountain, waiting for help to come. So dude, that's exactly how I've programmed my mind, right? So when I was actually in the stretcher and all that, I started asking my girlfriend to take photos. Hey, take photo. Like, I was asking her to document the entire journey so that I could actually share it. So that's exactly how I think. And I think it has helped me a lot in life, So yeah.
I think you are so good at handling obstacles and setbacks like this to a point that a little bit more extreme, you are looking for them. So that because all of these are opportunities to grow, and you can show people, see, these are nothing, man.
Absolutely.
Like Chuck Norris now, man. You're like
like Chuck Norris now. Okay, I don't go out. Okay, correct. I don't go out looking for like bad things to happen to me. Every day when I go out, I pray and I ask that good opportunities come to me. But I program myself such that I know that if anything bad does happen to me, it's really to push me forward and to help inspire people to be better.
So would we say that this experience versus the ski experience versus the stroke experience, how you handled it was very, very different.
Of course, for sure, 100% different, man. Like, after going through that when I was 18, like, dude, like, hit me, anything. Come on, let's go. Nothing can stop me now.
So no more victim mode. You never even went into the victim mode.
Not at all, man. Not at all, dude. Like, seriously, what happened? I don't know if you actually know this, but I flew down after my entire thing. I flew down the next day to Australia to conduct my entire boot camp in a wheelchair. In a freaking wheelchair, right? I still did it. My leg was. I didn't even see a doctor. It happened on Thursday. It happened on Thursday. I flew. It happened on Wednesday, and then I flew down on Thursday to Australia, and Friday I began my boot camp, and I did the entire thing in my wheelchair.
The ski part is in Japan.
Japan, yeah.
Tokyo.
It's
Near
in
Tokyo.
Hakuba, near Osaka.
Okay. All right. So we talk about the injury and the stroke and everything. So now let's get back to the book. And in this book is actually, for me, I look at it as there's three parts. First is about success in general, success mindset, success principles. Second is about money, right? And the third is about health. And that's something interesting because a lot of books that you can find out there are about success and money, right? And his book specifically mentioned about health as well. And I can tell you from personal experience, when you're young, you would think money is everything.
Yep.
Until you met like more people who are like 40, 50, 60 years old who are having some health issues, then you will realize, and they will all go and tell you that, money is important, but please take care of your health
Absolutely,
as well.
man. Absolutely.
Because once it's gone, very difficult to get back. So let's talk about something more fun.
Sure.
I recently went for weightlifting, and after six to 7 months, I gained 8 kg
In muscle.
of fat.
Oh, fat. Oh, shit. Okay.
So what's your advice on how to get good diet and everything, and how can I become leaner and have a nice physique, six-pack like you?
Okay. So, seriously, man, I think all of us know this, right? It's not something that is a secret. The whole idea behind it is, move your body more, eat less, like, don't put so much junk in your body. Right? All of us know that. Don't eat so much junk food, right? Don't eat so much fried food, don't eat so much sugars, and exercise more, move your body more, and you will see yourself getting fitter and everything. So we all know that, but again, it comes down to, are you going to be consistent with it? Alright, are you going to be consistent with it? And I realized that, the problem a lot of people go through yo-yos. Yo-yos meaning you say they lose weight and then they put everything back on again, and then it just carries on again and again. Then, every year. So, the issue is this, diets don't work. Alright, diets do not work. So don't diet, man. Like, don't diet. Like, what you need to do is to not diet, but to change your lifestyle. I think that is something which is so much more important, right? Like, diets are meant, you're just gonna die. You're just gonna, like, it's not meant to last, right? Diets are meant to die. But the best diet is something that you can stick to. Something that you can stick to for the rest of your life. Right, so that's something that is very, very, very important in terms of sustainable, sustainable living. So, in this book, if you see this book, the picture is great. Like, if you just check out the pictures inside, like some of the pictures, I'm like shredded. I'm shredded to the bone, dude. Like, for real, right? So but however, I want to tell you the truth. This level of physique, I can't maintain it. I couldn't maintain it. Because you're talking about this is about 6% body fat. At this juncture, when I was actually at this physique, like, I was starving myself. I had maybe less than 1,000 calories a day. I was like craving food like crazy. I was smelling bread and going nuts. Sure, I had a crazy, amazing physique, but I was training for a competition. So it's very different. So what happened after this entire shoot, just to share with you very openly, what happened after the shoot was that I went into starvation mode, man. So after the competition, when I finished the goal, I went back to eating everything that I could actually find my eyes on. And within 1 week, just to tell you like the truth, within like I think 1.5 weeks, I put on another 10 kilograms. It was nuts. So just to share with you, man, it wasn't sustainable, right? So can I teach you how to get into this physique? The answer is absolutely. But the part where I actually write about, where I wrote about fitness, where me and my other friend wrote about fitness in the book, it talks about sustainable eating. It talks about how you can actually create a diet and a lifestyle that can sustain you for life. Because you don't want to just be fit for summer. You want to be fit. You want to be healthy and fit for the rest of your life. All right. So how are you going to think? Same as investing as well. Are you going to think short term and your gains for the next month, or do you really truly want to be a wealthy investor for the next 50 years? What do you want? 1 month or 50 years? Right? So when you have that philosophy, when you have that thinking in your head, like I don't want to just be fit for next month, but I want to be fit in 50 years time, then the way you invest, the way you train your body, the way you exercise, the way you look at food, everything will be different. So yeah, man, short-term versus long-term thinking. So this book is to teach you how to really think long-term in terms of how you can implement changes to change your lifestyle as a whole.
Both of us are young.
Yeah.
We can probably do this.
Yep.
What if they are in, let's say the audience may be in their 40s, 50s,
Yep.
they have kids.
Yep.
And their metabolism may be slower.
Absolutely,
and they're
absolutely.
busy at work.
Yep.
What do you think is the thing that normal people that are busy,
Yep.
9 to 5, maybe 9 to 9 even,
Sure.
what can they do to maintain a good physique even after,
Yeah. So like what I mentioned, man, this book is not about, being, it's about longevity. So I talk about simple principles, man. Simple principles like, when you're going out with your friends to eat out, the guy comes to you, hey, Minum, what Minum you want? Everybody goes, oh, I want Coke, I want 100 plus, I want whatever drink. Why not just say, water? Like, there's one simple thing you can do, man. Like, one simple thing you can do is just opt for water instead of putting sugared drinks in your body, right? Like, and you do that consistently and just ask for, tea, like without milk or whatever. So if you can do these small little things, right, and that's exactly how you can, progress. Let's say, for example, I give another small tip I can give you is this. So, plan out your day. If you know you're going to have a crazy big dinner, all right, if you know you're going to go out and have a dinner out with friends, you're going to eat like satay and char kway teow and whatever it is, then cut back on your breakfast and lunch, right? Maybe have less for breakfast and lunch, eat something healthier, drink more water, for example, and then you can enjoy dinner. So it's about, I'm not asking you to restrict yourself and, only chicken breast. Like, no, dude, that's not the point. I've been there, done that. It's not sustainable. You can't be eating chicken breast for the rest of your life, right? Unless you want to become a professional bodybuilder. It's not possible for everybody out there. But very, very simply to maintain balance, right? So let's say, for example, if you're going to have a big dinner, have less lunch and breakfast, right? And if you do have a crazy pig out session, then go to the gym, exercise, do more cardio, do something more intense, which will make you sweat a lot more, right? So make sure whatever calories take in, you burn that out as well. So maintain that accountability to yourself, right? So there's some simple things you can do. But where people get fatter and start deteriorating is when they don't do that. They eat a lot and then they straight sleep, and then the next day they eat again, and before you know it, you become a fat ass. So maintain that balance, man. So that's the whole idea behind it. Enjoy your life, have good balance, and be disciplined with your structure.
So it's not about going to the extreme.
Not at all.
It's about small habits,
Yeah.
micro commitments, like
Micro commitments
that you can live with for the rest of your life, because you don't want to be fit for 1 month.
Yes.
You want to be fit for the rest of your life.
Absolutely, dude. You summarized it so well, man. So well.
Yeah, actually, I read this book. It was very good, and I think the easiest thing that you can start with is just order water instead of everything else. Just start with that first.
Yeah.
Then slowly, progressively, you can do other things like measuring things with your hand and all this. So there was a photo on your Instagram that you shredded 8 kg in 2 months for competition.
Sure.
That's not this method, right?
No, that method is different, man. That method is serious, hardcore methods. Yep.
But then again, to summarize, he said in the book, the best diet is the slowest diet.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, is it possible to get shredded? Maybe you can put out a picture. But, dude, I got shredded. You look at my picture in 8 weeks, you'll be like, whoa! What you don't see is the work that I put in, man. The work that I put in was intense. It was crazy. Is it possible to do? Absolutely, for sure. Is it sustainable over the long run? Not really. So, it depends what you want to achieve. So, yep.